right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the STAG Project Podcast. I'm your host, Sebastian Valentin, and here we are with the official start of Season 2 on mental health. But before we hop into this season, I want to do a little introduction for those new viewers out there. So, the STAG Project Podcast is a podcast hosted by myself and various other guests that I bring on here, where essentially we talk about topics that help you grow and become the best and highest version of yourself. I like putting practice into action. I like whatever I teach you guys, I make sure that I do myself and I make sure I promote the right things in order to stimulate and help growth in all aspects of your life, not just, mental health, which is what this season is about, but more so an overall good figure, becoming that overall higher version of yourself, as I like to preach a lot. So make sure you guys sit back and relax. And here we'll start with episode 1 of the mental health season, which is going to be titled, What is Mental Health? All right, so jumping right on into the episode. What is mental health? How can we define mental health? To me personally, I feel like it is an umbrella. Mental health, the whole topic itself, this big umbrella that is full of different little like definitions that kind of add up to the bigger definition of what mental health is. So the way I see it, it's how your mind, your thoughts, your consciousness, it's how strong and how fortified those aspects of you are. That's how I would define mental health. And I mean, there are plenty of things that can happen to us that can, weaken our mental health. But the biggest thing that I want to promote here is that while it is, how your mind works and your thoughts and your emotions is another big part of it. I really want to drive the point home that it's flexible. So, yes, there are traumas that we can experience that can bring us down, but I believe it's flexible and you can change. If you can change your mindset and your view on the world, you can definitely change your mental health. And that's really one of the bigger topics regarding mental health, especially nowadays, is overthinking. People get in a constant loop of their thoughts, and then they just start spiraling, and then it brings stress into your life, and it starts bringing down. You can picture your mind as like it's pillars, and those pillars are being held up by the different aspects of your mind. Your emotions, your outlook on life, your mindset. They're all pillars. There can be X amount of pillars, whatever you put meaning to, whatever you put value in. And certain traumatic experiences and also self-inflicted experiences, such as overthinking, can cause these pillars to rumble and to kind of break down. Now, mental health in a more scientific way, people like to look at like mental health issues. So, depression, anxiety, other ones that I can't think of at the top of my head right now. The biggest ones I can think of are like depression, anxiety. I think schizophrenia is one. All those type of behaviors that really have to do with the mind. And while I understand that being diagnosed with those certain issues can lead to it being harder to, kind of go over the mental hurdle or whatever you're dealing with, it might be harder to get through it. You might need some medication, you might need some extra help. I still believe that it is possible, that no matter what, issue is present, there's always an answer to it, right? There's always a solution. And of course, just like everything, there are extreme cases, but I'm not talking about the extreme cases. The extreme cases, they have their own solution. if that makes sense. Not every solution is the same, yet I believe that there is a solution to every form of mental health. And I think it's really important that we talk about this. Like, a lot of people question, like, why is it important to talk about mental health? And I think it's because of the extremes. It's because of the extremes. It's because of what we see in today's society. All the people who are struggling. In 2021, and this is a scary statistic, 48,000 people committed suicide. It's absolutely mind-boggling and shocking to hear that. And that's in America, of course. That's where the statistic was taken. And you really put that into perspective. 48, almost 50,000 people decided that they didn't want to keep going. And it all rooted from the mental health issues. So you might think like, oh my gosh, everyone always talks about this. This is such a prevalent topic nowadays. We're always bringing it up. And yes, of course, it's because we have to. We have to stop hiding from the fact that we are beings of emotion. The fact that we feel things and we think things. We're rational beings. We have to stop hiding behind like, oh, we're just people. Like, we're just living life. It's whatever. Yes, of course, we are just people and we are just living our lives. But there's a deeper, there's a deeper connection. There's a deeper meaning to it all. It's not just black and white, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not as simple. It is simple, but it's not as simple as we would like to think. So that's exactly why I think this topic is extremely prevalent. This whole entire season is going to be focused around the different, the different things regarding mental health. We're going to talk about relationships, the things that, emotions. Emotions is a big one. A few episodes on here are going to be about emotional intelligence. Really, I want to drive home the point that if you are able to structure your mindset and structure the pillars within your mind, which I talked about earlier, if you're able to structure them and fortify them in such a way where you're not letting trauma constantly bring you down and destroy you, then you can have a happy life. You can have what you want in life. If you're in control of your emotional and mental state, you can achieve any length you want. That's really the whole point behind this. And not just that, to show people that, it's okay to feel and it's okay to talk about these type of things. And I hope everyone knows that I might not know you, whoever I'm talking to, if you're watching this video, but I want you to know that you always, can rely on me. You can shoot me a DM, put something in the comments, just talk to me or talk to anyone. And that's the other point that I really want to bring home here on why it's so important is on top of being able to express our emotions and our feelings better, we need to learn how to communicate better with each other. I feel like there's a disconnect nowadays in how people communicate. There's no more honesty. There's no more genuineness to how we communicate. People always, they try telling you like, oh, just send mixed signals to this person, or I don't know, wait X amount of hours before you text this person, or just some very weird things. If you want to talk to someone, talk to them, communicate. Some people tell you to suppress like the things you say, like, oh, don't say this, don't say that. It might strike a nerve or whatever it may be. But if it's something that if you analyze it yourself and you see like, this is an effective form of communication, this is going to get my point across, and hopefully will get them to open up to their point, and there can be an actual dialogue between people. That's the type of communication that we have to strive for. And I feel like nowadays we don't try to strive for that. We're very surface level in our communication, how we speak to each other. It's almost like there's a loss of respect. I think that's the saddest part. I feel like we lose respect for each other very easily, and we need to learn that we're all humans. We're all going through this shit together. But if we work together, this shit could be a lot easier. So that's why this season is happening, is communication and vulnerability, which is essentially what I talked about, being able to express your emotions, your words, actions. It all comes down to being more vulnerable with people. And I know this is kind of a scary thought. You don't want to put yourself out there and get hurt. That's a very common argument. But if you think about it, like, you can't avoid getting hurt. And it sounds weird, but rejection and, getting hurt by other people, not being accepted by other people, it's a natural part of life. Not everyone is always going to like you. There's always going to be one person in the world who might not see you in the same light as others. So I think it's good to be okay with ourselves, that it's okay that this person doesn't like me, or whatever it is. I should be able to express myself freely no matter what. That's the truth behind vulnerability. And we'll be exploring that a lot more throughout this season. Vulnerability will be an episode, a little spoiler there, but it'll definitely be an episode where it's something we talk about. It's something we focus our time and energy on. So, for the second part of this episode, I would like to focus more on the social stigmas that we see, societal discriminations, and, things that we see in today's world that affect not only people with mental illness, but the overall image of mental health. A lot of people really promote, like, oh, it's weak to express your feelings, your emotions. It's and that's the key word here. It's weak. It's weak. It's weak. That's what we constantly hear. Like, you don't want to be that type of person that, is just expresses everything and is shooting everything out. You look like you're a mess. And that's what people say. The funny thing is, we're all in a mess. Life is messy. Life is unpredictable. You know, anyone and everyone usually plans for something, but sometimes 99% of the time it won't turn out the way you planned it for. And that's a fact of life. It's how nature works. And you can't do anything to disrupt how nature works. It's going to take its course with or without. So it's important to understand that we're all going through shit. And it's okay to talk about your shit. Granted, I do believe that, to the flip side of this argument, there is a proper time and place of when to express your emotions. And there's definitely certain people that are more likely to hear you out, and it's better for you to express your emotions too. So an example of this would be a father with children. You don't want to cry in front of your kids. And I mean, that's a personal belief for me, is you don't want to cry in front of your kids, because as the father, you're supposed to be, you know, the strong one in the family. You're supposed to be the one who emotionally, mentally, and physically, brings up your kids. And the mother also plays that role too, of course. I'm not disregarding mothers. I'm just saying the father is seen as like a head figure within the house, depending on how he, portrays himself to his children. So to me personally, like, crying in front of your kids as being a father, that's a big no-go. Does that mean you can't cry? No, you can definitely cry. Just, it could be something you do on your own time, or maybe with a trusted friend. Maybe you have an old friend. Call them up and you say, like, hey man, I need to decompress. I need to de-stress. Can I just talk to you? And have a genuine conversation with that person and let it all out. It's okay. Go to someone who you know won't judge you. And that's an important fact here, is that as a society, we need to learn how to stop judging other people. Why? Who gave us the authority to judge other people, right? Who are we to say what others should do or think or how they should feel? Everyone is their own master, right? So, I mean, that's just the biggest part, is making sure we're more accepting of ourselves, more accepting of the people around us. Because life life would be a lot easier if, we didn't have to deal with all this crap. We didn't have to deal with the emotions, the hard conversations, the trauma, all that stuff. It'd be great, right? But then, like, what would the purpose of life be? There would be no growth. We'd be very stagnant. Like, everything would be sunshine and rainbows 24/7, and we don't grow. We don't become better. It's just, to me, it's all a natural part of life, and we need to learn how to accept these things and how to make it so our whole society is accepting of these things and is ready to help people that are going through their shit. We should all be able to help each other go through whatever we're going through, no matter what. And I like to say a lot here on this podcast, it's definitely still true, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of anyone else. But if you feel like, say you were down at 30% of your maximum, but you feel like you're at 60 and you notice someone who's down at like 20%, you can help them out. As long as it's not costing you an extreme amount of energy towards, decreasing your energy. If your energy is like staying at 60, maybe going up to 65, then help them out. And the funny thing about that is when you help other people, that's really when you feel the most joy. And go try it out. Go help someone. If someone asks you a favor or something, do it for them. And don't do it expecting anything in return. Do it out of the goodness of your heart. Do it because you want to genuinely see that person shine. You want to see them do better. And trust me, when you do that, like, a light inside yourself will start to shine. You'll be like, wow, like that. It felt good to bring someone up. I want to keep doing that. I think that's our higher call. That's our purpose here in this world. And that's for anyone. That goes for anyone. Whether you're religious or not. And as you guys know, if you watch season 1, I'm very religious. But regardless of the fact, I think our purpose here in life is to help other people. We're here to serve other people. And it's all interwoven. It's all part of this. Imagine this giant web. And when I say, for example, I, like a singular person, says, my purpose is to help other people, I'm helping strands of that web get strong. And the funny thing is it's all, what comes around goes around, right? I'm out here helping other people. Other people have that same mindset. They're somehow affecting the strings all the way to where it gets to me, and it's helping me as well. Like, we're all, it's how the world works. It's how nature works. That's what nature prescribes of us on a regular basis. And the crazy part is that within this interwoven web that we live in, we often find ourselves, instead of strengthening each other's silk, each other's string, whatever you want to call it, we end up cutting each other's strings and webs and making it weaker. And then overall, the more that this happens, the more, if you look at the bigger picture, you take a bird's eye view to this, you see that the web starts deforming and deteriorating and start getting cut off. We aren't working as nature wants us to. We aren't working as we should as a society, as humans. I think that's the biggest problem today, is that like I said earlier, it all stems from acceptance. The second that we begin to accept each other for, who and what we are, we're humans, we have emotions, we have to feel them. We have thoughts that are sometimes negative, sometimes positive. We have to feel them out. In the moment, you have to take whatever you're thinking of or whatever you're feeling and experience it. And we have to be accepting of that. The fact that needs to take place in order for this huge web to gain strength and to go back into that spherical shape. I imagine it right now, just a giant web that entraps the entire globe. And they're all just made up of tiny little strings. And so it's really important to realize that you have the choice today and every day to either strengthen someone's string or to cut it down, to burn it down, to make it weaker. choose to accept other people for who they are and what they're going through and help them out. Not everyone is the same. Not everyone has the same mental strength, the same mental capacity to things. Some people might take a trauma harder than other people, and that's okay. You just have to be there for each other, bring each other up, give each other techniques and ways to get through these traumas, to get through these experiences in life. So when inevitably they happen again, we're stronger and we can get through it in an easier fashion. That's what life is all about. It's about growing through the pains and becoming better. Because no matter what, like I said, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get rejected. Things are going to suck. But if you learn to live in that shitty environment and become better from it, it won't hurt as much next time. It'll be better. That's all it takes. All it takes is you accepting other people, accepting yourself as well. So that's something that's often it's misconstrued and not talked about enough, is we don't accept ourselves. We like to accept other people, but not ourselves. Like I always say, in order for you to help someone else, to help yourself. And the ultimate form of helping yourself is making sure that you accept yourself for who you are. If you do that, you're already halfway done through the battle. If you accept who you are and you know that you have these deficiencies, you have these positive things about yourself, whatever it may be, that's already your one step forward. You're 50 steps forward, in my opinion. You can already delineate within yourself, okay, what am I good at? What am I bad at? And from there, you can make a plan. How can I get better at this? And then that plan, take it day by day. Live in each and every moment. Take it day by day and get better every single day. It doesn't all have to happen within a week or a month. It takes years to master and to sculpt that person who you want to be. It takes time. And the more you focus on serving yourself as well, the more you can serve others. So really make sure it's all interconnected. That's the biggest thing here. What is mental health? Mental health is interconnected. It's the way we treat each other. It's the web, the huge web that is mental health. Because I guess a key feature I forgot to mention about this, which was sort of implied, but this giant web that surrounds our globe, these strings, you can almost imagine them as they're strings coming straight from my head over to someone else's head. It's like we're all interconnected, no matter what. These strings can be of infinite length. You don't know what your actions can do. Your actions, your words, your feelings, what they can do to someone who can be miles and miles away. Thousands, hundreds. Maybe your next door neighbor. You always have an effect. So make sure you're always taking a step back and realizing, okay, before I go into any situation, I have the mindset that I want to bring people up and that I want to, strengthen their web. Of course, you don't want to you make sure you want to be genuine with it. You don't want to just say these type of things and then you're 100% all the time, 24/7, the happy, positive, like whatever. Because that's also another thing is we say, oh, be positive, stay positive. Yeah, it's good to stay positive. It's good to be happy. But realize that these emotions, like one singular emotion, is not all you're going to feel throughout the rest of your life. You're going to get angry again. You're going to get sad again. It's part of human nature. It's going to happen again. Just make sure you know, like, when you're happy, you're happy. And, don't force an emotion either. Don't try to make yourself happy. Just, if you go with the flow, the second we stop going against the current and we just let loose, it's the second we really see that letting our emotions flow through whatever state, that's what will bring us the most inner peace. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for episode 1 of season 2, where we talked about what mental health is, why it's important, and its effect on today's social standards, the social stigmas that mental health and mental illnesses face. Thank you guys so much for watching and staying in tune with the channel. I know there have been some hiccups here in the road, but everything should be smooth sailing from here on out. Again, I appreciate everyone who watches this and gains something valuable from it. If you guys have any feedback or anything else, it would be greatly appreciated if you commented down below or sent me a DM on Instagram. Also, if you guys have a moment, I'd also really appreciate if you guys gave this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video out with your friends. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.